After the central bank, let's proceed then with the largest bank in Georgia, and that's TBC. Our reporter, Butskhrikidze.
Well said, Dato.
Yes, Georgi talked to Vakhtang Butskhrikidze. Investor sentiments and all that is connected with this broad issue came into the focus on this interview with the general director of TBC Bank.
TBC is one of few Georgian companies listed on the London Stock Exchange. You do have permanent contact with various investors allocated in TBC shares, equity, etc. So what's the main questions coming from them, and how do they feel about the current situation? You are not just Georgian bank, you're located in Uzbekistan as well, so I'm trying to search their moods as well.
Yeah, thank you for this good question, and I'll split this question into parts. First, Georgia is exceptional from the region and also from the Eastern European countries, because in Georgia we have 3 public companies who are listed in the London Stock Exchange. You couldn't find in our neighboring countries any sector or no banking sector or any other industries where you can find the 2 largest banks listed on the London Stock Exchange, and both of us are the premium listed companies.
Correct.
Which means that we have a higher standards of the corporate governance. This is the first. Second, I think investors. So investors are very important not only for TBC but for Georgia, because in Georgia last 30 years we are developing market economy, and without investors, without FDIs, our country could not have a future. And what we see, and time to time, trends and the questions are different from the investors. And now I'll try to explain what kind of questions we are getting last 1 month and what kind
nowadays,
what kind of interest do they have. First of all, as you know, in 3 weeks' time we will have a municipality elections, and we have a political noise. And the first question which we are getting from the investors, guys, what is happening in Georgia, how the elections will go, and what kind of results. So we are trying to explain that all the major political parties are Western oriented. All of them are for the integration. So this is the main answer we are trying to explain to the investors. Second questions we are getting about the COVID, and we are trying to explain, unfortunately, cases were increased in August, but today, last week, we have a very good, not very good, but good trends. And government had a very ambitious plans to have a vaccination up to 2 million citizens before the end of this year. So this is the second. Third, I think the challenge in the short term for this year is inflation, which went up to closer to 13%. But we believe that is a temporary issue, and from the next year we will see different trends, and the inflation will go down to the targeted, closer to targeted rate to 3 to 4%.
And you expect it by 2022, yeah?
Probably at the end of the next year we will see 3 to 4%. So this is the main questions and main interest we see. What kind of questions we are getting from the investors.
What about Uzbekistan? Is Uzbekistan still among the questions coming from your investors and shareholders?
You see, Uzbekistan is a new venture, so you know that we began that business recently from the beginning of this year, and we have unbelievable results. I mean that if you look on the number of the customers, how we are growing our loans or the deposits, and what is important that in Georgia we are a bank who has all kinds of the businesses. I mean, beginning from the retail and ending by the corporate. But in Uzbekistan we are different institution. We have only mobile bank. Fully digital bank in Uzbekistan. So this is very interesting for the investors, and we are trying to explain that we are operating only mobile application, and we are adding hundreds of thousands new customers every month.
Besides that, you're at the same time covering not only the capital of Uzbekistan anymore, you're covering around 10 major cities of Uzbekistan, and what I've heard, it's about 500 employees, what you have already.
Yeah, you see, today you're right. So we are covering 10 largest cities in Uzbekistan, and we have a very ambitious plans before the end of this year to cover most of the medium and bigger cities in Uzbekistan. And you see, when I'm getting the pictures from these bigger cities, I remember TBC bank operations 15 years ago.
In Georgia?
You see, in Georgia, in TBC, you could not see the queues, very seldom.
Yeah.
But in Uzbekistan, in our service center, you see the huge queues which we had in Georgia, I think 2006, 2007. And people are standing in a queue just to open accounts, because by the law in Uzbekistan, just to register the individual citizen, it's necessary one time to sign the agreement. And for that,
so you should be there in face.
Yeah,
just
one time you have to come for the service center. And why they are standing in a queues every day? So it's the same situation we have what we had in TBC in Georgia 15 years ago. It remembered me that time, but the opportunities are huge in Uzbekistan.
Vakhtang, over 500 TBCs that's in Uzbekistan, thousands already existing team members of TBC here. What the current update in regards of COVID-19? I remember our pre-last meeting maybe where you said that all this situation regarding COVID will not cause any problems in the field of cut of the staff and team members and things like that. You've been talking about stimulating them, etc.
Oh, we are stimulating differently our employees to make more vaccinations, and I'm proud that today more than 60% of our employees, I mean in the front and back office, already vaccinated 1 or 2 times. And also what we are planning and what kind of information we are getting from our employee that probably in 1 month's time we want to target 80%, which is too high target for us, but I'm sure that we can do that. This is the first. And secondly, we are increasing number of the employees even after the COVID, and within last 12 months we increased number of the employees by 800. But what is important that from these 800, majority of that are coming from the technologies, and we are increasing employees for the IT direction.
But it's in general it's around 800.
800, yes.
My pre-last question is: do you still consider that the main challenge for Georgia during this year and the next, if by some chance we'll not have a medicine for COVID, it still remains virus and inflation? Is it the biggest challenge for the country nowadays?
Yes, I think that first of all,
yeah, I could add budget deficits, things like that, but at the same time we see fiscal discipline.
COVID vaccination is non-economical challenges we have in a country, and inflation for the short term.
For the short term. Thank you so much and good luck, Vakhtang.
Thank you, Georg.